Hey, how you doing? Thanks for reaching out. I hope this video helps, but I'll keep checking my email through the end of Saturday because I realized that the extension went till like 11:59. I'm not going to stay up on Saturday, but I can. If you need help, I'll be around. So, social penetration theory and Shrek. What are some of those things about? It's good that we write those down because it can start to help organize your ideas. And you've already done so by choosing the film. So, what are some themes? What are some themes and narratives in Shrek? There's a lot going on, but what you could do is you could go out to the open web and just type in Shrek review. I'm in my garage, so there's construction going on next to me. If you're wondering, so you could look at fairy tales, happy ever after. But if you look at film summaries and reviews, people are going to talk about themes and ideas going on, and that might give you a lot to work with. But one of the keys is writing stuff down because we need those key moments, not just names. And so, like if you typed in donkey and waffles, let's do that. What are we going to get if we get donkey? Donkey waffles. Because donkey loves waffles. Let's have some waffles. It was a line that me and my kids just loved. If you look up donkey and waffles and Shrek, you're probably not going to get anything. So you might have to talk about, of course, we get 13. Shrek the musical. But if instead you type in like food and self-disclosure. So Donkey was trying to get people to like warm up with like shared comfort food. Then all of a sudden we get 4,000 articles. So you start with the keywords and ways of describing it that might show up in a context, not necessarily naming Shrek and not necessarily naming social penetration theory. So what are some of those? Self-disclosure is a big one. So we could start with that one. If you start out with self-disclosure, so first of all, social penetration theory. I'm in the library catalog at libutah.edu, and you can search through a whole bunch of different things at the same time. And as you're talking about Shrek and social penetration theory, it might be good to refer to things that talk about social penetration theory. So there's 396 articles there. The reason I stuck it in quotes is so it would find social and penetration and theory all stuck together in that particular order, rather than social here and theory there and all mixed together. So there's ways where you could approach it that way. If you go into the articles, I'm going to move my head up. It's windy today. You can hear the walls in the garage just like creaking, and I hope it stays up. It's cold today too. So if we were looking for just social penetration theory, how would you use that in an article if it didn't talk about Shrek? If it didn't talk about the things that you're interested in? Here's how you would do it. Oh, it doesn't always happen this way, but here's mutual information sharing and relationship empathy. I'm just like Shrek, because Donkey divulges a little bit about himself. Shrek hides things. And so you could use an article like this. Or there's discussion on the web. If there's something that you don't understand, like this one, I haven't a clue what's going on, you could just skip that one. Let's narrow down to peer-reviewed articles. Peer-reviewed means it's just supervised by people in the field of study. So if it's an article in sociology, sociologists as peers review the article. How could we use these? So there's social networking sites. What's going on with that one? It's not necessarily the population or the context that matters, but the big one that matters is relational maintenance. So Donkey keeps on trying to get Shrek out of his shell, as it were, or keep him from from being an introvert. So let's look and see if there's an article that talks even just a little bit about what we're interested in. Oh, and it's frightening to see. It's computers and human behavior. Initially, I go, oh, this is not what I'm looking for, because Shrek has nothing to do with computers, right? But they're not talking about that. That's just the context. Oh dear, do I have to do this again? Oh, suddenly everything is broken. I had a problem earlier where everything broke. And I had to restart and do an update. Fingers crossed that that's not going to happen again. Okay. When you click on full text available, sometimes it says look in this database instead. So we'll go into this database. I got to turn on my electric blanket. I'm freezing. I'm sitting on an electric blanket. Okay. When you look at a scholarly article, let's just look at the PDF. Most scholarly articles follow the same pattern. Very descriptive title that tells you everything that's going to be in there. The abstract, which is going to be a short summary of the main points. And then the first page or so are going to be a slightly expanded summary of the main points. And then the next 30 or 40 pages are going to be how they did the research and a whole bunch of things about the population, the methodology, references, history, all those things you don't necessarily need to know to get a point from the article. You can just grab it from even the first page. So let's see. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it at the same time. Oh, and this one has social penetration theory. Okay, so we already have there. Okay. It doesn't always happen like this, but it says here, if a disclosure, self-disclosure, if it's made too quickly, it could stunt a relationship or even lead to the loss of that tie. That's like a relational tie where you share things. So Donkey is really forward and does a dump of information really quickly. And it kind of puts off Shrek. Having said that, I could also say, and in Natalie Pennington's article, Natalie states that if a disclosure is made too quickly, it could stunt a relationship. So I said something about Shrek where Donkey was being too overwhelming and too forward, and it put Shrek off. And then I found this little point from a scholarly article. I'm actually pointing at it. Usually I get my pointers mixed up. And so you have a source of a citation, and it's from a scholarly article, and then you move on. So you're not going to find articles that have social relation. You're not going to find an article that has social penetration theory and Shrek and Donkey, but you're going to grab these little bits and pieces that support what you have to say. So let's do another one. Let me show you another example. Let's go into a database. So that's the library catalog where you can throw in keywords. Let's do a database. There's a social sciences database that I had really good luck with in the last video that I made. And it's called Social Sciences Premium Collection. Sounds like they're selling a car. It's a premium database. So this one right here, Social Science Premium Collection. And in all of these, if you've logged into cis.utah.edu or Canvas, you should be able to access these. But if not, at the library homepage, there's a little off-campus access link. So we want to just do scholarly journals. So you could type in Shrek and see if they talk about it. And it's likely there'll be some articles in there since this was a really popular movie. Social sciences are like business, psychology, sociology, social work. Communication has some. There's a comparative analysis of the intonation of Brazilian Portuguese. So some of these are just going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But here's an interesting one. So the social penetration theory, it's how people reveal and negotiate shared values and things like that. Here's an article about how and people say no to each other. Ogres are like onions, which you quoted. Stigma. So stigma being something that people are ashamed of and they're hiding. All sorts of different things that you could work with. But what if you didn't find anything related to Shrek? Did I mean shred? No. What you could, so you could pull from those keywords again. You could look at social penetration theory, but you could also look at self-disclosure or body image or friendship and persistence. You could start mixing and matching those keywords together. So let's do dialogue and friendship. This one's going to have like a zillion articles. But let me show you. So what it's doing in this one, let me show you for example. So I'm in social sciences research and I'm looking up dialogue. How many articles are there going to be? I bet it's in the millions. So dialogue is two people talking with each other, potentially doing that self-disclosure thing. Oh, 600,000. That should be easy enough to get into, right? Always translate French. Not this time. So when you added a keyword, you have to put in the word and. What the and does is it says, okay, after you've searched for everything with dialogue in it, then take that search result and then find my next keyword so it has both of those. So let's do dialogue and self-disclosure. Uh-oh. Is it searching for self-disclose? Why did it do that? Again, I'm putting it in quotes, so it finds self and disclosure stuck together. So again, that social penetration theory is where people are communicating with each other. And then you could just throw in any other thing related to Shrek or related to social penetration theory. Ooh, evolutionary changes in friendship. There might be something in that first page or so of the article. How about, not fire end, friendship. Let's add another keyword. So we're looking at like maybe Fiona. Ooh, maybe there's Fiona and gender. What else is going on with Fiona? Fiona goes back and forth between human and ogre. So there's more than just gender. 13,000. But is so in when people are talking about how people look and how they feel about themselves, how they feel about their body, they call it body image. What if Fiona was worried about Shrek thinking differently about her depending on her body? But we couldn't find anything that had the word Shrek in it. How about dialogue and friendship and gender? Or we could do self-disclosure and friendship and gender. But let's throw body image in there. So friendship is where people maybe trust each other with more information. Do you see how I'm mixing and matching all these keywords? Body image is going to be a good one, because Shrek is ugly. So this first one, there's perceptions, there's friends, but then the rest of this might not necessarily matter. So there's people being picked on. So Shrek gets picked on a lot. There's body image, eating disorders. Ooh, I know Shrek ate some like gross stuff. Objectification theory. So there's media. And we could call, who was the one who was like very suave? Prince Farquhar or something like that. So what you could do is, what are those perceptions? How are people talking about this? And how do things like that matter? So here they give us our framework: social comparison theory, perceptions of friends' body sizes. Let's see if they say something. Oh, here's an interesting thing that you could use. So Fiona, in her ogre mode, said overweight females based on measured BMI were less likely to accurately judge themselves as overweight if they had a close friend they perceived as heavy. If you have Fiona, who's an ogre, she's less likely to view um, Shrek negatively in the movie, right? Because they were both more alike. But all of a sudden you can say, and this is supported by the findings of Ramirez and Milan in their article in 2016, where they said, da 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 da. Okay, do you see how that works? You have your narrative, and then you're spiking it with these lovely little scholarly based things, and it doesn't have to have every element in the article as we go. Okay, how do you get these articles? Oh, there's a citation generator in these right here. There's a PDF download. If you can't get the full text of an article and you find one that's really good, just send me the citation. I'm happy to help. Okay, I hope this helps. I don't think you have a tough job ahead of you. I think you're in good shape. So let me know how it goes, and I'll keep my eye on email today and tomorrow too. Okay, thanks for reaching out.